Hi, my name is THarding, and I just wanted to thank you for letting me come and talk to you about protective actions today. Before I began working in emergency management, I worked for as a first responder for a local ambulance agency, and I worked there for several years. Um, as we talk about protective actions today, it made me think back on my time working for the ambulance. One of the protective actions that we heard quite a bit was hang on. Especially heard this when we were driving fast. Maybe a fairly new EMT was driving the ambulance and he would shout, hang on, or slippery roads, or driving through canyons. All of those we would often hear, hang on. And so we heard that one quite a bit. Another one that I heard quite a bit when I was running on the ambulance was watch out. Now, this was one you didn't want to hear because you didn't quite know what was coming. If that was a bodily fluid or somebody was throwing something, you just never quite knew. And so watch out was one of those protective actions that we didn't want to hear. But really, protective actions are just simple instructions that are designed to keep you safe. Um, they're also very important. FEMA has been studying protective actions along with several researchers, and they've been working to determine what protective actions work better than others, if that's a thing, what protective actions will do a better job of helping prevent the loss of life or protecting property. So they're doing a lot of research into this, and some of their research is already available online. Happy to share that with you if you're interested. So protective actions can be shared in a number of ways. Some of the ways that protective actions can be shared are over the TV or over the radio, even over the internet. Messages can pop up on your screen. Protective actions can be shared in a lot of ways. Maybe it's a siren. Maybe that's how protective actions are shared in your community. Here at BYU, we utilize the Y alerts. Hopefully you've all signed up for the Y alerts. If you haven't, you can go to our website and there's a link there that will take you right where you need to go to sign up to receive Y alerts. But that's how these messages will be shared, or one of the ways that BYU will share these messages with you. So let's get into the protective actions that BYU will be using. So one of the first protective actions is evacuate. So evacuate means to get out of the building or get out of the area that you're in. You want to walk, you don't want to run, go to the nearest stairwells and don't use the elevator. You just want to be calm while you're evacuating the area. Another message about evacuate is when would you evacuate? We could ask for some comments here, but we'll just give you the ones that we came up with. So perhaps there's a fire or the fire alarms are going off in the building. Maybe there's a chemical spill. Maybe there's a bomb threat. Maybe there's a gas leak, or maybe there's a crime or something bad going on inside your building, and so you need to evacuate. Another protective action is seek shelter. So this will primarily be used in weather emergencies, but when you're directed to seek shelter, that means to stay inside, stay away from the windows, stay away from the doors, keep the windows and doors, exterior doors closed, and don't use the elevators. So you might hear seek shelter during a weather event, like I mentioned. Maybe there's flash flooding, or maybe there's some type of chemical hazard that's going on outside, and we need you to stay indoors to stay away from that. That'll keep you safe. Another message that you might hear us put out is stay put. So if you were to hear the message stay put, know that you're safe. You're safe where you're at. We just need you to stay there for some reason. So just stay and wait for further instruction. This might be used during a medical emergency. Maybe there's some criminal activity going on nearby that you need to stay away from. Maybe there's a police investigation and law enforcement just needs to keep that scene secure. So they need to keep you where you're at. Maybe there's an animal in the building or a fight or something, some other type of disturbance going on. These are all reasons when you may want to use stay put. So in the event of an active aggressor or an active shooter, we would message to our community, run, hide, or fight. So this is like an aggressor or a shooter, somebody who's attempting to do harm. So there's a few options that you could do when we message run, hide, or fight, right? The first option is run. Get away. Get away is your number one priority. Just get away from the situation if you can. Leave your belongings if you have to and just run. Get out of that situation. If it's safe to do so, you can tell people as you're exiting, run, stay away. There's an active aggressor or an active shooter here. That's a good thing to do. Another one is hide. If you can't get away, if you can't run, you could try to hide. Again, with hiding, you'll want to lock the door. Block the door with things, objects if you can, turn off the lights, stay out of sight as much as you can, and silence your cell phone. Don't put it on vibrate. You just want to make sure it's super silent. Those are all things that you want to do if you're going to hide. Another good tip for hiding is don't hide in groups. Don't make yourself an easy target. That's important to do as well. So the last option here is fight. And when I say last, I don't mean it's the last resort. Oftentimes it's messaged that fighting, you should only be fighting as a last resort. That's actually not the case. You may need to fight right from the beginning. So please don't think of fighting as a last resort. It very well may be your best option. So commit to it. If you choose to fight, make sure you're committed to that. Find a weapon that you can use. Do something to distract the aggressor or the shooter so you can catch him off guard. If there are others around, involve them and have them help. Do whatever you can to disarm him. And if needed, to do whatever you can to defend yourself. That's the most important thing. You know, I wanted to share with you a story that I heard about recently. It was about an active shooter or aggressor that happened a few years ago. The active shooter had walked into a bar and he just began shooting. And people were running, screaming, hiding, trying to get away. His gun jammed. He worked for a few minutes to get his gun unjammed, and then he continued to shoot the individuals in the bar. His gun jammed once again, and he got it, worked for a couple minutes to get it unjammed, and then he began shooting again, killing people. He killed many people, and he injured many more. After the situation, some researchers kind of looked at that case study, and they thought about what would have happened if somebody would have fought or would have gone up and fought with the guy or attacked him or jumped in. There was many people in that bar. Any of those individuals or a few or many of those individuals could have gone up and attacked this guy. And how many lives would that have saved? We'll really never know. But regardless, here are the protective actions that you will be hearing from our university. And we hope that you sign up for Y Alerts so that you'll get these messages if there is an emergency on campus. And thank you for letting me share this message with you today.